a fully loaded power rankings episode. I do these power rankings every 2 weeks. We are after week 6 now. It's time to go back and do another. We've had massive trades this morning. Davante Adams, now a full-time Jet, not just a part-time Jet because he has been for the past 3 weeks. We all know that. Amari Cooper, shocker, he's a Bill. Great trade in my opinion on that one. Either way, lots to go over in this episode. Maybe things will break while we're in the middle of recording this. We'll see. Either way, before we get into this video, don't forget to check out w.gg and use code SHREDDER for 10% off your order. They've got some of the best energy drinks you'll ever taste right here. The blue raspberry is my favorite. Check them out at w.gg or click the link down in the description. And let's get right into this video. Starting off our power rankings, going from bottom to top, we are starting off our first year. They are in a league of their own, and that league is relegation, borderline. I mean, Browns fans, if you're out there, you're probably hiding. You're back. What was it worth? How did it feel? You got out of the doldrums of the NFL for a whopping 3 years, I think, 4 maybe. Yeah, that's where you are. Anyways. They've moved down 9, and they are by far and away the worst team in the NFL. It's not close. Yeah, they want to blame Deshaun Watson. To be honest with you, I've been supportive of Deshaun Watson in terms of football over the last few years, saying he didn't have enough practice, he wasn't with the team, things like that. I understood. What's the excuse anymore? I don't think there is one. Honestly, it's not a excusable thing. There's not much you can say about it at all. There's nothing. There's really just nothing. 31, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've been pretty bad to this point. They got a win finally. They're up +1. Mainly that's because the Browns moved down, not they moved up. Either way. Panthers going to the next team. They are 30. Moving up one more time once again themselves. As you can see, this is my former, below me is the previous power rankings from the past week. It is, where we're sitting at now, how it's looking. But hey, Panthers, they're moving up. They're 30. Once again, probably more so because the Browns have moved down than they're moving up in all true reality. 29, New England Patriots. Drake May looks interesting. I'm ready to see what he can do. I'm glad they played him last week. He looked really good. However, let's put some hamper on those expectations for Drake May because, yeah, he threw 3 touchdown passes in a game where he absolutely had to make them look even kind of a little bit relevant. Yeah, I would expect him to do that. I would expect a lot of guys to do that. Justin Fields versus the Colts. They were down big. Yes, he had one of the best games of his career statistically, even though he really didn't play that well if you actually watched the game. But statistically, it looked good because he had to throw all second half. It happens. It's what happens. Either way. After the Patriots, number 28, the Tennessee Titans. Probably another team who's going to face some explosions here soon. Guys like D-Hop, Calvin Ridley could be on the move. We're interested to see how that goes. And beyond that, once again, the Browns, just to go back to them. Amari Cooper trade, that also plummets them even farther. They just have no talent on offense anymore. Like Nick Chubb, congrats. He's coming back for what? Not a lot. Either way. After the Titans, we have number 27. This is a new one. The New York Giants move up some good spots. They've played decent football. Unpopular opinion here. Not opinion. Actually, unpopular fact. Daniel Jones has been the same guy that Patrick Mahomes has been this year. Stats prove it. The eye test, there's a little difference there, I will say. But, I mean, it's more talking about Mahomes than it is Daniel Jones. Mahomes has not been very good. We'll talk about that later. But, yeah, hey, they're not losing at the hands of Daniel Jones. We can say that. They've gotten some wins. They've been, at least a relatively decent team because, they've been capable. That's pretty much what you can boil it down to. They're fine. They're up 3 spots this week, which is pretty, semi-substantial. They've won 2 games. That's about it. That's all you can say good about them. Next is the Raiders. The Raiders are at 26 this week, moving down 1. Honestly, the Davante Adams trade, he hasn't been playing for him anyways, but massive loss to Pittsburgh this week. Looked really bad offensively. Honestly, Pittsburgh's offense didn't even do a whole lot. It was really Pittsburgh's defense just completely clobbered them. So, yeah, they're 26, and yeah, it's going to only get worse from here without Davante. Number 25 is the LA Rams. They are the top of these 1-win teams, basically, 2-win teams, basically, because of the fact that who do they have on their roster? The talent they have. A lot of it's been hurt. Cooper Kupp's been hurt. Puka Nakua's been hurt. Matthew Stafford, he's a million years old, but he's still pretty solid at his position. There's a lot missing from this team, but overall, they're just the highest upside team here. I definitely trust them more than the Raiders, the Titans, the Patriots, the Panthers, the Jaguars, the Browns, obviously. I mean, they kind of just get handed the position because of that right there. But hey, they're kind of the top of the bottom. It's not a great look either way you go about it. Number 24 is the Miami Dolphins. They are up to, I think, 2 wins? 2 wins now? Yeah, 2 wins, 2 and 3. They had a bye week this week. Tua is going to play. That's probably why they're as high as they are, because maybe it's not next week, but he is going to be back at some point relatively soon. That's going to be a big deal. Tua, we clearly see, is Tua special? Not necessarily. Is he a lot better than, even your low-end, high-end, mid-to-end backup? He is. He just simply is. Is he a starter in this league? 100%. And we've seen that over these Dolphins teams in the last few weeks. The lack of targeting Tyreek Hill has been detrimental to this team, and that comes from not having Tua Tagovailoa under center. Moving on, the Denver Broncos get a really solid jump here, moving up 3 spots. Dolphins moved up 5, if I didn't say that before. Broncos, they've played some decent ball. They're up to 3 wins, 3 and 3. They've done it in some unorthodox ways, beating the Jets with 10 points, keeping the Jets to 9. But hey, more power to you. A win is a win, and no one's going to look back at it next year and say, oh, they lost that game, or, they didn't fully win. No, they won. They won the game. That's all that matters in that point. It's a big deal. It is a big deal. And thankfully for the Broncos, Bo Nix looks like he's kind of putting it together. He's managing the game. The guy who we thought he'd be, he is. And that's good enough. So take it and run. Then, a big faller here. Not the biggest of the week, but a big faller nonetheless. The Seattle Seahawks. They are on a 3-game losing streak. And to be honest with you, I've been calling this one from the beginning. They are not nearly as good as people thought they were. They were 3-0 to very, 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 very bad teams. Let's see. In week 3, they played Skylar Thompson. No Tua in that game, obviously, so that's a big deal. Week 2, they played the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett, who's just obviously not a very good player in general. He's now benched for Drake May, so there's that much there. And then week 1, they played a first game Bo Nix, and they only won these games 26-20 over Denver. Versus New England, they won 23-20 in overtime. Overtime to New England with Jacoby Brissett. Yikes. And then week 3, they beat Miami 24-3, but Miami's been in shambles all year. Then they've lost 3 straight to some relatively solid teams one way or another. Week 4, they lost to Detroit on Monday Night Football, and they lost 42-29. They got clobbered there. The game was better than that looks, honestly, I think. But either way, New York, they lost to them. They lost to the Giants 29-20. That's not a good look. That really, losing to Daniel Jones, come on now. And then finally, they this past week, who'd they play? They lost to San Francisco, which, I mean, sure, they should have lost that game maybe, but they should be 4-2, maybe beat the Giants, maybe 5-1. I don't know. That's what you'd think they'd be, but Seattle's just really not that good. They just simply aren't. Geno Smith is not the greatest quarterback. He's fine. He's a bridge guy. You're not going to be pounding the table for him, and they're probably going to look to move on from him sooner rather than later. To me, by the end of this season, I wouldn't be terribly shocked if they give Sam Howell some run towards the end of the year. The Jets stay at 21. This was a highly contemplated question here because of, they haven't really won or been very good, but they at least played competitively to Buffalo last night, which was impressive. And also bringing in Devontae Adams this morning will shoot them up a little bit, that's for sure. Number 20, the biggest faller of the week, New Orleans Saints. This does come at the hands of not only, a couple of losses pretty recently, but also Derek Carr's injury. That's a big loss for them. That's not going to help them very well either way. And Spencer Rattler, a lot of people are thinking he played really well and he showed some promise. Honestly, I don't see it. He had to kind of throw a lot, and he made a lot of mistakes, and he, did some good things. But hey, I mean, I'm not thoroughly impressed by that game. There's nothing about that game that really stood out. I mean, they're 2-4. They're on a losing 4 streak. It's really bad for them right now. 20 is generous at this point. You honestly could probably drop them below, probably above the Raiders, as they're a pretty fair spot. But we'll kind of incrementally go down. Either way, they're hanging on by a thread right now. Cardinals at 19. They've been the Cardinals. They're 2-4. they've had a tough run here in the first part of the season, I'll say. Some hard games. Lost both Connor and Marvin Harrison this past week in some injuries in the game. Yeah, it's just kind of a tough run. I think they could be better than this, but also, I think I predicted on the season them to have a healthy 7 to 8 wins just because they have a lack of talent. I mean, Kyler can carry a lot, and he can help out a lot, but the lack of roster talent across the board is just incredible. It's going to be hard to surmount anything with that. Then the Colts moved down just one spot, going to number 18. They had a big win versus Pittsburgh, but then this past week wasn't great. They also just, they won this week. What am I missing? Pittsburgh was how many weeks ago? I'm lost. Either way. The Pittsburgh one was good, but Joe Flacco's been on and off. Who's this team belong to is the big question here. Anthony Richardson hasn't been amazing, hasn't been healthy. Joe Flacco is Joe Flacco, and he's going to hang around for even longer, apparently. But I just don't think he's amazing either. Who is this team? Their identity's pretty shaken right now, in my opinion. And after the Colts, a team moving up a little bit, the Bengals. The Bengals are +1. Obviously, they won this week against the Giants. Thanks. Congratulations, I guess. Kind of whatever. I don't know. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. They're still in shambles. They still have a lot to figure out. They're what, 2-4? There's a lot to figuring out to do for this Cincinnati team. And, this week will be very telling for them, this upcoming week. These next 2 weeks, they got to get back to 4-4, or it's over. The season's over if they don't get to 4-4. Either way. Then, at number 16, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a win versus the Browns. Didn't look pretty. But, hey, the thing about the Browns is their defense is fine. Not great. It's fine. Their offense is terrible. And they should have probably done more defensively. We saw a lot of good things this week. Jalen Carter looked solid. Cooper DeJean looked solid in his first start. Some young guys really showing up. But Philly's got to get things together here. If they lose any more games in the next few weeks, Sirianni's head's probably rolling. Now entering the top 15. The LA Chargers take number 15. They're down 2, actually. They've been fine. The Chargers, they're a 1-win streak. They've had some good stuff happen. Their culture's change is affecting things. They have one of the lowest points for in the league at 91 points, I believe. They are, 4th in points for. Or, I guess that'd be 28th, 29th, something like that. And the thing is, though, they're playing really solid defense. Let's look at this here. I want to sort by this. They are actually the number 1 scoring defense right now in terms of, points allowed versus other teams. So that's very promising. That's something that with this roster, they should not really be doing. But that shows you, Jim Harbaugh, excuse me. He's made a culture change there. This guy is worth what they're paying him. He's going to change a lot of things about this team. We just got to see the offense pick up. Justin Herbert needs to be doing better than he is. We got to watch on him, see what's going on with that. After that, the Dallas Cowboys fall 4 spots from last week. Dallas, what's going on, bud? You had a good win versus the Steelers. Congratulations. You should have lost that game probably to a bad Justin Fields game. It wasn't very good from Justin Fields, and you still barely won. And then you get absolutely clobbered by the Lions. So, yeah, I don't know what to think about them. They are now 3-3. I bet McCarthy's gone. Definitely by the season. He's gone for sure, but they're probably firing him if they lose any more games quickly. In the next 4 weeks, if they lose 2 games, then he's gone. He's gone. Anyways, after that, Dallas Cowboys team, the Atlanta Falcons, they're moving up a little bit. Atlanta Falcons up 2. They've really just started to put their team together, figured things out. They had one of the most crazy games the other day against Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago now. Incredible game. One of the best games of the season. They're just kind of getting settled in. We got to see what they can do from here, though. Then the Bears are our biggest riser this week. I like what the Bears are doing. They go to London. Usually London games have terrible offense. Well, guess what? 200-something yards and 4 touchdowns from Caleb Williams. Throwing lasers all game. Dude was incredible. The last 4 weeks, I think they're on a 3-game winning streak, and their defense is playing very, very well. Their defense is 101 points allowed. That's not too bad league-wide. Let me see who that ranks them as. They are about 6th. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. They're about 6th league-wide in points against. Points for. They're also kind of getting towards a decent part of that. They're probably about, I'm ballparking this once again, 10th. That's pretty solid. Bears looking like they're putting something together, and Caleb Williams making a run for the Rookie of the Year. really quickly, really picking up steam, exactly as I predicted. If you've been around this channel, I predicted Caleb Williams would start the season off a little rocky, but pick up and take off and be a very good quarterback by the end of the year, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing. I'm excited about Caleb Williams and what he's able to do. And then number 11, the Green Bay Packers, they're basically tied with the Bears here. They're picking it up as well. They're moving up just one spot, but they're getting in the swing of things as well. They've got their quarterback back, and it's looking pretty good for Green Bay. Their defense has been a little underwhelming, though. Something to watch for. Xavier McKinney, he's got to pick a game. Well, not anymore, but he actually didn't because he dropped the one versus Minnesota. They didn't see. No hate, McKinney. Great safety, but just because he's getting a pick doesn't mean they're doing a whole lot with it. In terms of points against for Green Bay, they're probably about halfway. They're about 12. It looks like. I mean, they're doing better than what it says, but honestly, I'm just not that impressed with their performance so far. Either way, and then we'll go into our top 10 here. Top 10, Pittsburgh's at 10. This is the ceiling they can hit right now. For now. Wait a minute. Breaking news today. Russell Wilson might now be the QB1. They're going to leave it up for grabs here in the week. My guess is that's just Tomlin speaking to say, who are we going to start, Mr. Jets team? Who are we going to start? I don't know. I don't know. That's all he's doing. I bet Russ starts this week. And I think it's fair. Justin Fields has been a good backup. And that's what we expect. That's what I expected. Not even what I expected. I think he's exceeded my expectations. I didn't think he could even do that much, to be honest with you. He's been a lot cleaner than I thought he'd be. And thank you, Justin. But Russ has a lot more of a ceiling than Justin Fields will ever have, considering just a passing ability. I think that is the right move. And playing the idiot in this situation where they're gonna say, yeah, we don't know who's starting. They do. And maybe you start Fields this week, but I don't think it goes very long before Russ is starting. With Fields starting, 10 is their absolute ceiling, and 10, it would be a 1 if they had good offense. They would be number 1. Because this defense is incredible. This defense is truly special. Moving on. Number 9 is the Commanders. They're moving up 7 spots. Big time for them. They did lose this week. They did. But they're 4-2. Something that no one really thought they'd be. I didn't think they'd be. I will claim that 100%. I'm going to tell you when I'm right. But I'm going to tell you when I'm wrong. And they're proving me wrong. It is a college offense. Cam Taylor, Britt, yeah, you're right. It is a college offense. Okay, defend it. Do better. You can't. They're playing well. Whether or not it's a college offense, they're playing, they're executing. That's what matters. They're winning games. They lost barely, really, to the Ravens. They kind of ran away with it at the end, but this team could have really, they can do some things that I didn't think they'd be able to do. Their defense can't, but their offense definitely can. Then, the Niners going down 2 spots. They just got to get right, man. Niners, like I said, they beat the Seahawks big, but they always beat the Seahawks big. Like, who cares? It's what it seems like, at least. And we got to see them beat some teams that matter. I'm not really convinced on them either way right now. You got to see them get healthy. We'll see, man. That's all you can say. Then the number 7 is the Bucs. They are doing pretty solid. They're still down 3 spots. Honestly, these next few teams are going to be down. Niners, Bucs, and then I'll go ahead and tell you the Bills. They're all down this week. But it's mainly because of some teams moved up. It's not so much they moved down. It's more so there's other teams that really had great weeks and moved up. Bucs, they've just had some bad losses. They had a bad loss to the Falcons in terms of, it was a close game. They were scraping till the very last second and just couldn't get it. But hey, it's a division game. It always happens. Bills, good win versus the Jets, and I love the Bills. I don't love the Bills. I love Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is playing amazing football right now. But the defense is really holding them back. It's kind of like the inverse of Pittsburgh here. They're this high because Josh Allen. The defense is holding them back from being up in this tier. Steelers are this high because of the defense. The offense holding them back from being up in this tier. And now for our top 5. Number 5, Baltimore. They move up 3 spots, getting up here. Baltimore, this is a record-based thing here. They are only, 4-2, I believe? I'm trying to find them here. Yeah, 4-2. And, that's fine. But points allowed, they're really, really, really low. They're like bottom 7-ish, bottom 8, something like that. Points for, they are top 3. That's great. Derrick Henry has, been really strong. But is that sustainable? I don't know. Especially the way they play, I don't know that really, truly is sustainable. We'll see. They've got a lot of proving to do, I think, long term. They're going to compete. They're never going to get blown out, but they have to win games. And, we've seen that for the most part, but Okay, congrats. You beat up on a really bad Washington defense. Yeah, let's see some more, convincing play. Texans at 4, moving up 3 spots themselves. They're winning games, man. They're 5-1. They're the only 5-1 team in the league. Every other team is either 5-0 or 4-1, 4-2. So they've won 5 games, and only 3 teams have done that so far in 6 weeks. The other 2 teams have had a bye week, so can't really blame them for that. But hey, Texans, they're playing good. Points allowed's really solid. They're at they're second in the league in points allowed, and for the points for, they are, let's see, they're about 11. Could be better. They haven't been very much clicking on offense, you might say. Their offense has looked a little bit messy considering what we expected from them. Well, what most people expected from them. I expected second-year struggles from Stroud, from DeMeco Ryans, but looks like their talent is carrying. We'll just see how long that sustains itself, really, at this point. Number 3, the Lions. I wanted to put them higher, but I really just couldn't. Obviously, been a top 10 offense for sure. Defensively, been a top 5 defense. They did just lose Aiden Hutchinson, though, to a nasty leg injury. We got to see how they can be after that. That's a big question. Big test they're going to face here without their best defensive player by far. Like the guy who probably was about to win the Defensive Player of the Year had he continued his season the way he was. Been very impressive to this point. I'm liking what they're doing. I'm liking what I'm seeing in Detroit, but they got some proving to do. Kansas City comes in at 2. Messy offense. They're relying on the defense. They're getting wins. They're 5-0. That's all that matters. Vikings, not so messy offense. Pretty good offense. In fact, they are, in terms of points for, they are, about the 13th offense points-wise, and they're the second defense. They've been really, really good. 139 points for, 76 points against, a 63-point difference. That might lead the league. That does lead the league. Them and Detroit lead the league in point differential. That's the reason why they're winning, is they're clamping up and they're scoring points. Are they scoring the most points in the league? No. But are they having to? No. They're playing really good defense to match it. So these are our power rankings for this week. Let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Who would you move up? Who would you move down? A lot of things are going to change. A lot of things might change this week. Obviously, 2 massive trades with Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper so far. Let's just see what else keeps going on, man. I'm excited to see what these new-look teams, the Bills, they now have an offensive weapon. Does that move them in the top 5? Very, very, very possibly. That could be really scary. I like the player Amari Cooper is. No head case like Diggs was, but, he's always open. He's incredible. We'll see how this goes. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps my channel out a ton and doesn't cost you a single thing.